Nobody was coming to save me. I remember that day when that really hit hard. I remember my wife and I drove to Chicago. It's probably a 5 hour drive for us. And it's not because we had any plan, it's because we had no plan. We really didn't know what to do. And that was the first time that I really think that I really felt that we were on our own. And that's the only thing we knew to do: get away, drive, and figure it out. And that was really tough for us. So we drove there in one day. We drove back, nothing planned. We had dinner. And when you're driving 5 hours or even 10 hours with no purpose, it just shows how confused and overwhelmed and scared we were. If you're watching this, I think you know exactly what I'm describing. Now, the situations could be always be different, but you get that same feeling. It's the feeling that, let's say you went in all in on insurance. And let's say that you decided to go all in on a cash pay practice. You left insurance. And for probably a minute, it felt good. It felt empowering. But then you had some really severe fear show up. Really bad, scared fear. I get it. I've been there. It's not just the, oh, I'm not sure if this is going to work. It's the staying up at 3 in the morning and taking a walk outside by yourself, looking up at the sky, and literally feeling like the world is falling out from under you. And I think we've been there. And if you've been there, this is kind of what we want to talk about. So sometimes you think about this as imposter syndrome. Like, did I make a mistake? Did I do the right thing? Did I choose to go in this direction? And we're talking adding functional medicine. Did I choose to do this? Or is it a joke? Everybody makes it look so easy. Am I cut out for it? That's a real fear. And I want you to really address it. And I want you to think about it. Different situations, but even me personally, like I know what it's like. I'm not saying we did anything wrong, but I know what it's like when you're driving down the road and there's a police car behind you and your heart drops because you think something's going to go wrong and you think that people are after you. And this happens with business growth and business strategies. And I know there's probably situations you've been through. The point is you have a fear and you're always living for that moment of saying, well, when's this going to get better? When's someone going to sweep in and take control? Or when will this go away? Or can I just go back to my 9 to 5 and give me my check and my insurance and just be, call it good? So the doctors that are choosing to go this direction, I mean, this is the stuff we face. And this is the stuff we worry about. Sometimes it's even the people in your life who are supposed to be your partners, let's say banks or even systems or networks. So at some point, you think that they're trusting you and you think they're on your team. They may even come back to you and say, well, too bad you're on your own with this. And I've been to this as well. And you just realize that I don't think I can do this all by myself, but no one's going to come and protect and save me. I remember those nights. There's one night specifically. I remember sitting in my office, corner office, windows on all sides. It was dark out, storms were rolling in, and I was not only building a business and a practice, I was managing patient files, trying to get things set up with them, making sure that they're taken care of, dealing with vendor calls, dealing with some other finance stress stuff I was dealing with. And all I could do was sit there. I used to pace my office in the dark because it just helped me think. I'm a verbal processor. And those are the nights that still to this day, I wake up and feel. I just feel those gut moments. But here's what I come to understand. And it really did cost a lot to learn it. And I want to share this with you. That's why I'm saying this. I don't think you can do great work with an escape route already planned. Now, what does that mean? When you have like a backup plan or you have the safety net, I think what happens is you're not doing your full greatest work in the way that you want to get done. If your vision is to build out a practice a certain way, this is why we talk about vision when I work with providers or even just talking to practitioners normally. And this is probably why I came to learn this. If you don't know your overall vision, anything's going to get you to wherever you're going. You're not going to sure what it is. So when I see these doctors have like this backup plan, like, well, I'm going to try to do something like this, and I'm going to put maybe 50 to 60% effort into it. And if it doesn't give me 150% return, then this must not be for me. It's too hard. It's too complicated. I'm just going to bow out. I think half committed produces nothing worth building. And this is not even in clinical work, not in a practice, not really in anything real. So when your brain is running that backup plan consistently in your head, I think it's going to make doing good work more difficult. You're not going to solve the problem that's really in front of you. You're just going to be managing it because you've always got other stuff pulling you in other directions. And mastery from this is not going to come from just most of your attention. It needs to really come from all of it. So I say this with love. Brian Tracy has a line. He's kind of a personal development sales guy of old. My grandparents used to watch him, but he has a line that really sticks with me. And it's just simple. If it's got to be, it's up to me. And I know it sounds like a bumper sticker, it's kind of cheesy, but until you've been into a dark, dark place where the only thing left is you, that doesn't ever resonate. So that's where that kind of line comes in for me. And the practitioners that I am blessed to work with and come in communication with at events, online, whatever it may be, the ones that are actually winning right now and stepping up and doing great work are actually they're not the ones that they weren't waiting until they weren't afraid to do it. They actually were afraid and nervous and they just did it anyway, and they stopped saying, should I do this, should I do that, I'll wait for this to get set up, I'll wait for these documents to be done, I'll wait for me to create my intake form, whatever it is. Instead they started asking more how. That's a completely different operating mode, and the full commitment doesn't make that hard stuff disappear. Okay, but it does stop the question of whether you're doing this or not. Once it's settled, now you got to figure out what to do next. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you that when you commit to building out a functional medicine practice that it gets easier, or when you implement anything new that it's going to be easier. We're all prone as humans to go back what's comfortable, and I get that. But to really step out and do something new, and again, we're talking about implementing these new processes maybe in your practice, it's not going to get easier. And I'm not going to even tell you that the fear goes away. I don't think it ever will. Honestly, the doctors I see probably fail. And when I mean fail, it's not necessarily like their life fell apart, but the ones that don't get to where they want to get, the ones that don't get to that finish line of what they can see in their vision. And I've actually been there in a few of these things in my life. They don't fall apart or fail because they weren't smart enough. It goes back to that. This is not a education thing. If it was education, we'd all kind of we have problems because there's a lot of smart people. But a lot of these providers, they're not getting to where they want to be is because they always kept one foot in the door and one foot out. And eventually the weight of that ambiguity broke them. So the one who choose to really make it and the ones who take that step fully are the ones that kind of push through and get through it. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up because this was heavy on me as I talked to providers, and there is a lot of fear. And I think a lot of people that come alongside, like let's say mentor, a coach, a guidance courses you do, we all talk about how great it is and wonderful and easy. Look at these patient case studies. The seminar teachers will all say, I saw this patient, this got better, and I saved the world, and all these things are great, and I bought a new car with all this. That stuff can be real, but I think a lot of it is false. A lot of it is fake because then we go back and practice and we wonder, why is this so difficult? Why is this so hard? Why am I dealing with imposter syndrome all day long? I thought I had vendors and banks that were here to support me. Nobody cares. It's going to be up to you. And what's going to help you and motivate you the best is going to be you, your conviction, what your vision is. And so when I'm talking with doctors, whether we're working with them or not, my big thing is you got to know where you're going. You got to know what you're shooting for and your goals are. Because anything worth doing well is going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. And if you choose to do it, it's going to make getting through that a lot easier. If it's just a little dabble and I might try a little bit, but I'm still going to hang on to my safety over here, I think you can still get some success out of that, but then it goes back to just defining what does that success mean for you? Is it seeing maybe one patient a month? Maybe that's success. So I think you got to define what that is. And then once you know that this is the path I'm going to be on, you're going to put in the work and you're going to go all in and you're going to do what you can to drive that success outcome that you have determined. So I have a question I want to leave with you, and I mean it as a real question. Are you currently building a practice, or are you running an experiment that you're still deciding whether to believe in or not? Because those produce very different results and only one of them is going to be worth your full life. So if this hits with you, if you're dealing with something that you feel that anxiety, you feel that stress, and you feel that question, maybe even that voice inside of you that is saying, am I to do this? Can I do this? Can I, see patients a certain way? There's a lot of probably incoming insults or inputs, I should say. And if it hits with you and you're in that place right now and you want to see what building something like that actually looks like for you, that link in the description is the place that I would start. And if you want to see more of the clinical business systems that we help on the other side of all this, go ahead and DM the word lab story and we can help walk you through that. Okay. So it gets hard. It is hard. And I think it's going to get harder, which is why I choose and encourage doctors that I work with that that's what I've learned. When you go and try to dabble and have the safety net and do four things at once, it's all going to come back and bite you and it's going to hurt. And this is what actually drove me to a health crisis years ago when the stress just builds up so much that my body couldn't take it anymore. So I hope that you guys don't go on that path, but I want you to know that when you think through this, that's a good thing. When you're challenged to think if this is the right thing to do, if you should do this, go back to your vision. What do you want for your family? What do you want for you? What do you want for a community? Because you can do it well, but doing things half, you know what the word is. If you want to do it halfway, you're going to get half results back. So I encourage you to think through that. If anything resonates with you, just message below, and I'm always happy to help and reach out when you can. Nobody